there's a clause in that law that said they restricted Okada from 475 routes network in Lagos.
Not a new debate. In 2012, commercial motorcycles with less than 200 cylinder capacity were forced out of many highways and bridges in Lagos State using the long arm of the law. Years after, Okada, as they're called, returned to business as usual. And fast forward to 2020, the debate on regulation is resurfacing. The new signs are visible in major roads in Lagos, but the level of compliance is still very low, as observed by our team. The Lagos State government says it's had enough of the many wrongs of the operators, but yet to make a pronouncement.
Lagos is home to an estimated 20 million people, and of course, the life here can be frantic and fast-paced, but the traffic in the city can really slow things down. Those who want to avoid spending long hours in the traffic sometimes jump on bikes or choose other means of transportation. But with these new signs from the Lagos State government, there are indications that something is coming.
The signs that are being erected, these are part of showing people that this law is alive and that it's been enforced. So if the signs are there, if the signs are not there, it will not be easy for you to say somebody has committed an offense.
Motorcycles and tricycles have the advantage of being more flexible and providing a faster means of transport on the usually clogged Lagos road. But there are statistics staggering enough to make prospective passengers have a rethink. In 2018, there were more than 3,000 cases of motorcycle accident reported by the public health facilities. There are also cases of accident, death, and injury reported to the police in the state in 2019.
The government itself knows that Okada is not part of the smart city that we are trying to build. It's not part of our journey to a greater Lagos.
The debate on ban or restriction is mainstream, with on-demand transportation companies now playing big in the commercial motorcycle space. Ban or no ban, there seems to be some grey areas in regulation and enforcement. These riders say they're on the receiving end.
I've been home for a very long time before I got this job. But getting this job, I thought my problem is over. But I didn't know additional problem will be added to it by, let me say, Nigerian police or whatever task force we have in Lagos State.
They said we shouldn't go to airport road. Fine, accepted. Airport, it may be a restricted area. They said we should not go to governor's office. And what else did they want? They are saying they don't want bike on bridge. How do you want to lead to island?
Lagos State may not have a transportation system befitting of a mega city. The government says it still doesn't see commercial motorcycles fitting into the big picture, but willing to weigh its options to avoid creating a more damaging effects. Dari Ido, Channels Television News.
Welcome back. Yes, indeed. One of the men you saw in that report is here with us in the studio to shed some light on how they intend to go about all of this. Mr. Gbenga Omotosho is the Commissioner for Information here in Lagos. Thank you for coming on today. But before we take a look at some of the matters in that report, let's just follow up a bit on this Takwa Bay matter. If there are about 10,000 people who have been moved from Takwa Bay, certainly there will be concerns for the state or the authorities, the government in this case, as to where will they now put up? What is the thinking of government up to what happens to those amount of people?
Yeah, the government has sent representatives to Takwa Bay to look at it, but first you have to look at it as a security matter and borders on economic sabotage. And when a case is like that, the state government pulls back a little bit and allows the authorities in charge, in this case, the military, the Navy, to look at what is going on before it moves in. Because some of the people you are talking about, they have not even made any representation to the government. They have LCDA chairman, they have a Community Development Association chairman, they have a traditional rulers. All of them have, as far as I know, they have not made any representation to the government.
So if they don't make any representation, does that mean the authorities won't be monitoring and watching to ensure that there isn't any breakdown of law or order to wherever any sizable amount of people may move into?
The authorities are monitoring. And that's what I'm saying, that we sent people there. We sent a team there to find out what is going on and to join the military people in seeking a way to at least resolve the matter. But what I'm saying is that this is a matter that borders on economic sabotage. And these people, at the same time, they have to show that they are not involved in it. And they should, even if before they make any representation to the state government, they are not doing that. But the state government has been there to look at what is going on, to see how they can be helped. But whether you like it or not, some of them are not even Lagosians.
If a representation is made to the government, will there be plans for resettlement, maybe?
Of course. I mean, look at the kind of fire that happened in Ijegun, in Abulegba the other day. The people have been resettled in Igondo. The governor was there a few days ago to see them.
But the Atakwa Bay is not the only area where eviction has happened over the past 2-3 years or thereabout. Otodogbame is another one that's been talked about over and over again. What's the update on that? And is this eviction thing continuing for a long time?
I mean, look at why the latest eviction has taken place. You have people who have built houses, and inside the houses, you have wells where they are siphoning petrol, allegedly. I mean, the thing is that it got so bad that the GM deal of NNPC had to complain because output was dwindling, and they didn't know what was happening. So they had to go out of their own way to investigate, and they discovered that most of these places that we see as residential areas, they are indeed places of criminality. And they had to move against that. And like I told you, it's a military operation bordering on economic sabotage.
All right, we'll keep tabs on that one because it's a different matter, because some of those areas, once you go in there, yes, it might be shanties, but there are structures you see which are pointers to, wait a minute, how come this differently looking, properly built place among shanties? So questions and pointers will always exist. But now to this commercial motorcycling. I know that some time ago when the word ban was used, the authorities felt, no, we didn't ban, what is the position today?
Now the position today is that there is a law, the 2012 law that was revised in 2018, that these Okada people, motorcyclists, Keke Marwa people have refused to obey. And the state government has been doing advocacy, pleading with them, asking them not to go on highways, asking them not to carry expectant women, asking them not to carry more than one passenger, and so many other things to just obey the provisions of the law. They have refused to. And besides that, if you call it a restriction, if you call it a ban, whatever it is, the paramount interest of the Lagos government is to save lives and property.
Do you agree with those who think that Lagos is having a problem with this, enforcing this, because they refuse to outrightly ban it? Because some of the states who tried to restrict it, it didn't work, they just felt they just had to ban it. So do you think that that is a factor?
Of course, that is a factor. So many Lagosians, especially the poor people that people are saying use Okada, they are praying, they are telling the government to ban Okada. Because if you look at the figures where you have the fatalities, the areas that are mostly affected are areas where you have the masses, where you have poor people. And they are the ones you see in hospitals. You see in Lasut, as this month, the 2019 alone, Lasut has received about 104,000 cases, accident cases. And these are not big men. These are Lagosians who are ordinary Lagosians. They are the ones who patronize Okada. And they are the ones who are in hospital with broken heads, with smashed limbs, and all that. So if people are saying ban or restriction, call it whatever you will, government has moved in to say enough of the nonsense.
What was it that you said it's a 2012 law? Because I remember indeed that there was that law that, commercial motorcycles were banned way back in time. But it was after that that we also saw the registration of on-demand bikes. So what's the assurance this time around that this law will be enforced and there will not be another review? We will not have to have the same conversation again.
I mean, if you look at the figures, I don't think there is any responsible government that will look at the figures and people are dying like this, and then you review it again and begin to say that these guys should come back to come and be doing what they are doing now. You are talking about registration. As far as I am concerned, government has not registered any company to come and be running Okada. In fact, what the government was trying to look at is how to regulate these people so that if they are regulated, their excesses can be curtailed. But as far as I know, nobody has been licensed to go and start running Okada. Because now it's unfortunate. People are even, I don't like saying this, people are even saying that Okada money is blood money. Because the rate at which people are dying, then the rate at which people are being robbed on the roads, you are going to the airport, they snatch your bag, your passport and everything, and twat all a bit for you to travel out of town. Then you are coming back from work, then they snatch your bag and escape on Okada. The police are worried, everybody is worried.
So that crime area is understood. But when you talk about the ride-hailing apps, the bike-hailing apps that we have on ground right now, are you saying that this ban also affects them?
It is unfortunate that these guys we are talking about, the ride-hailing guys, they have been seen to be part of this problem.
So it affects them also?
It affects them. It's everybody. Anybody who is riding Okada.
But you give a condition that if they are registered, they've not been registered by the state government, as it were. So if they are registered, will they be back on the streets?
I don't know whether they are going to be registered with the new development. I don't want to preempt what the state government is going to do. What I want you to understand is that this new move, the latest move, is as a result of the deliberation of the Lagos State Security Council. And Security Council involves everybody, involves all agencies that have something to do about security in Lagos. And they took this decision because they feel it is the right way to go to save the city and its residents.
You know, at that time too, I think I remember when, after the law was signed, August 2012, thereafter, there was this comment about, I think the government at that time allowed bikes above 200cc. So those ones can operate. Maybe that was why there was that thin line between which bike can apply where. So could you clarify what is the situation now? Those ones that are above 200cc, they can apply those other roads that these other ones have been banned, or below 200cc. Is that the case? If
you have a 200cc or 400cc or whatever it is called, and then you are using it for commercial purposes and you are going on bridges, you are going on highways where you are not supposed to go, you will be arrested. You see, the thing is that the guys who are doing courier services, for example, they don't carry passengers and they don't constitute so much danger.
So they are allowed? Those ones are allowed?
Yeah, if you are using it for courier.
But they have to be what, below 200cc or above?
They have to be 200cc, and then you have to have a box behind you to show that you are doing courier service, and then you don't have to carry passengers, and then you have to be well kitted. You wear your helmet.
So
the enforcement agencies, they have their discretion.
Do they know these things, that this is how it will operate?
Of course
because
they know.
If one is going on, because I mean that so many people have got those bikes.
They have been well breathed. We had advocacy for over a month before this decision was arrived at.
But are you aware of the security implication of this? Because they will say there is never a vacuum. So if you're saying that, these motorcycles and tricycles are banned from major highways and bridges, that means they will probably have to move into the inner parts of the city. That will mean more pressure and more security challenges. So what is being done to handle that area?
Thank you for talking about security. The very first reason why this kind of action had to be taken is security. Because these guys were constituting a security threat to Lagos. Some of such threats I dare not say here because they are so scary. But everybody sees Okada everywhere. They don't know the kind of security problem that they constitute. It is beyond snatching of bags. It's beyond stabbing people and escaping. It's even beyond going into homes to rob people and escaping on Okada. It's bigger than that. It's much more scary.
So what I'm saying is that threat now move into the inner parts of the cities because they need to do their business in court. So are you really aware of that security challenge?
Of course. The security people have told you that this is a decision of the Security Council of the state. The police, the military, they are ready, the intelligence agencies, they are ready to ensure that anybody who says because it's Okada, a business has been taken away, it's now going into crime, the law will seize such a person. And then there is a security network in Lagos that is 24 hours activated. That if these guys move into the inner places you are talking about to constitute a security threat, they will be challenged. And in fact, they will be subdued.
What about the economic angle? Because, I mean, a lot of people are saying, this is how these people feed. You listen to that young man in the report that says, I mean, this is how I'm trying to feed myself. They said they've had to have agreements with the NURTW, the RTEN, and the local governments where they pay them money on a daily basis. And now this ban has come into place. So how do you handle the economic angle? Because a lot of people will be earning much less than they used to earn before.
Yeah, so many people have spoken about it. It was well considered. But you see, it is a certain that our young people, all they can do now, all in the name of having no job to do, is to go and ride Okada. If you want to build a house now, you import builders from other countries, neighboring countries. You import artisans. You import all manner of simple jobs that our people used to do. They no longer do them because everybody thinks Okada is the way to go. And in Lagos, you don't think Okada is part of the smart city that we are trying to build or the greater Lagos journey that we have embarked on. Okada is not part of it at all. And all these people that you are talking about, there are so many channels for them to get employed. Lagos State Employment Trust Fund is there. My own tailor got so much money, 5 million, and he's employing about 15 people today. A tailor, and illiterate, he never went to school. Somebody helped him to fill the form, and he was there to prove himself that he could do it. Today, he's repaying the money, and he's doing well. There is Office of Poverty Alleviation. They have given money to thousands of people. They have trained people in tailoring, in so many areas, so many trades. They are there, but there are people who are looking for easy money, who feel Okada is the way to go, and most of them don't even learn how to ride the Okada. So they constitute a danger to Lagosians. So many people are having their heads smashed, their limbs broken, they are in hospitals. Police are saying that if we don't do something about Okada, Okada will do something about us. And Okada is doing so many things about Lagosians.
Well, let's get to Makwa. She's got a question as well. Makwa, go ahead.
Now, there are those who argue that because this is also affecting the ride-hailing applications and those who have, tried to put some sanity, that perhaps Lagos State government could be missing an opportunity there if it goes ahead with a blanket ban. But that's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm going to ask you is about the alternative. Okadas have come up as a response to try and get people to their destinations really quickly. Is the Lagos State government looking at this problem, and what are the alternatives that they are proposing for people who, spend endless hours in traffic?
Well, thank you for that question. The logical thing to do and to say is that before you bring down the sledgehammer on Okada, why not provide alternatives? That is the logic. But when you are talking about human lives, when you are talking about security and safety of Lagosians, first, you don't think about alternatives. But the good news is that the Lagos State government has alternatives. In a matter of this, I think the very first week of February, if I'm not making a mistake, we are going to be commissioning 6 boats so that more and more people can use the waterways. There will be advocacy that our people should try the waterways. You want to go from Marina to Ikorodu or Ikorodu to Marina, you want to go to Mile 2 and all that, you can use the waterways. That is a part. We have hundreds of buses at the ports that are being cleared now. Very soon, in the coming days, they will join the fleet of buses that we have in town. Then there are some other arrangements for massive deployment of vehicles in Lagos so that nobody suffers from the Okada ban. So there are alternatives that are coming. But like I said, the logical thing to do is to allow these alternatives before you pronounce a ban. Yeah, and this is the first stage of the ban in justice local government.
Okay. I know that you might have come across this in your editorial duties before now. The way they argue that, why is it that before elections, this ban comes into place or they enforce the law, as it were, but just build up to the elections and during elections, nobody's arresting anybody?
Well, I don't know. Every government has its own style. Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, our governor, is a man of his own word. If he says that, he has said that the security of lives and property and safety of Lagosians are paramount to him. And I don't think that Lagosians who elected him to take care of their security will abandon him at the time of election for him to now be thinking of saying that he's going to reverse himself on Okada. Don't forget there was a research. We did thorough research before we came about this. And we are saying, okay, these 6 local governments that are critical, even just like others, let us start from there. And I'm telling you, since that pronouncement was made, people have been hailing it. Although there are some people who will say it's not the right decision. But the government should not be timid to take decisions. And that is what the government of Babajide Sanwo-Olu has done. We have taken a decision that we feel will benefit the people. And on the long run, Lagosians will see that is going to be of great benefit to them. And all these people who are talking about voting and not voting because of Okada and all that, don't let me deceive you. Most of them don't have voting cards.
All right, we'll leave it at that point. Mr. Gbenga Motosho is the Commissioner for Information in Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back in a moment and take a look at some of your comments. Stay with us. Oh, let's take a look at some comments from you. Well, part of this was already put out, but Zimo, anyway, still talks about the ban on commercial motorcycles. He thinks we don't have these things pan out. The Okadas and the tricycle riders are usually banned when the elections are over. But when we're nearing elections, once again, the ban is lifted. The politicians need these guys to win elections.
Well, Oshinawa Kingsley, Baba King, 85, says our society of unemployment, poor road network, lack of efficient transportation system, corruption, etc. have all brought about backward growth. Inasmuch as I don't support Okada on our roads due to its problems, we'll create another, or he says we'll create bigger problems, according to him.
Lord Lugard 001 says, listening to Mr. Mike Igini, this is about the Akwa Ibom rerun elections. Listening to Mr. Mike Igini, the wreck of INEC in Akwa Ibom State on Sunrise Daily shows we need total overhaul of our electoral process and highlight the involvement of security agencies in our electoral process. INEC should also advocate this with the Senate.
Well, Zimo also tweeted on the Akwa Ibom rerun election saying, we'll continue to have issues in the elections. We clamor for a digital economy, but find it difficult to introduce electronic voting when we know it's the only thing that can curb these politicians with inordinate ambitions and electoral malpractices. Well, that's from Zimo.
So thank you all for your comments. That's the show today. We will see you tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Oh, that's right. I am Kayode Okikelu.
I am Ayo Makere. Have a wonderful day.
Are you guys thinking about your names? Well, thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Yusuf. Have a lovely day.